Hello everyone and welcome to the presentation of Serpstat's keyword clustering tool. In this video I will show you how to set up the project, explain how the keyword clustering tool works and what we need to do to get results. We'll need two things for this project to work. One is Serpstat itself and the second one is a list of keywords. As you can see, I have gathered some keywords here in my spreadsheet. I have about 850 keywords with the minimum search volume of 590. It's a pretty limited keyword list. I didn't do too much keyword research and basically just gathered a bunch of keywords about Samsung appliances, TVs, and parts. But those keywords are not just about Samsung TVs and Samsung parts. As you can see, there are general keywords like 47-inch TVs, 60 TV stand. There are some product codes in here. There are M4 screws. There are website addresses somewhere around this list. So these keywords are from pretty various subjects, not just from one single subject. So we'll be able to create some interesting groups with it, with our clustering tools. Without further ado, let me show you what you have to do to create clusters from these keywords, run text analytics, and get your results for website optimizations for these keywords. First thing you need to do is log into Serpstat and get to the menu. You can do that from a list of projects, for example. As you can see on the left menu, we have Tools section marked as beta, which means some of the products here are still in development, but they are working and we're just making sure that they are perfect at the time of release. What we need here is Grouping and Text Analytics tool. So let's go ahead and open that. As you can see, I have already some of the text projects here. Let me show you how I went on to create those. So as you remember, we had a list of keywords about Samsung appliances. So let's go ahead and name it like that. And if you have a website which already ranks for some of those keywords, or the website which you want to use to target these keywords, you can enter it here. If you do not have a website, that is not a problem. Serpstat will just create clusters, groups of keywords, and show you which one of those have to be on the similar pages, on the single pages. So basically it will create the site structure for you without tying it to any URLs on your own website. Let's use Samsung parts.com website as our test subject and see what we can do with it. So once we've done that, let's go ahead and copy our keywords. You can also import them from your files or just copy and paste them if you have a spreadsheet like I do. Okay, next we have to choose the search engine and region we want to target. I'll just go ahead and use Google and United States without tying it to any certain region or city. But you can do that. You can choose California and Los Angeles, basically just like you do with rank tracking projects. Okay, so this is the hardest part probably to understand, the linkage strength and type of grouping. Weak and strong linkage strengths stand for the number of links or intersections for each keyword. Weak means there should be at least 3 pages that have every keyword from a group in common. Strong means that there should be 7 pages. Serpstat analyzes 30 pages for each keyword, so you have a chance of getting like 3 pages. A larger chance, 7 pages, a little smaller chance. Type of grouping soft and hard. Soft means that keywords in this cluster don't have to have connections to one each other, but each keyword should have at least 3 or 7 connections to another keyword in this group. Hard means that every keyword in this cluster should have 3 or 7 pages in common. So what purpose does it serve? For example, we can use weak and soft clustering to create groups for keywords from different subjects. For example, if I have just copied the keywords from Amazon.com, and there will be keywords about everything: home appliances, toys, car parts, beauty products, everything. So, and I just want to create initial groups for those to separate like toys from car parts. That's what I have to do here, is go with weak linkage strength and soft type of grouping. If I have keywords about car parts, or especially like a certain type of car parts like suspension parts, I'm gonna go ahead and use the strong and hard keyword grouping because I already have keywords pertaining to one subject, and I want to make sure that groups of keywords that I get in the end result are as strongly connected as possible. Okay, so for this project, I'm gonna go use the strong connection strength and weak type of grouping, which means I will have keywords that are connected to at least some of the keywords within a group. Not every keywords will be connected to each other, but there will be at least 7 connections for each keyword. And let's see what results we'll get from that. So at this point, that's basically all you have to do. You just click finish and wait for your project to appear in your keywords grouping projects. You will see that it's in progress. There should be a progress bar. Here it is. And it should be done within a few minutes to a few hours, depending on how many keywords you added to your project. Serpstat is capable of working with 10,000 keywords. So if you have that many, there's no problem. Okay, once you've done analyzing the tabs for the keywords you've entered and creating clusters for those, you can access your project here. It will be marked as finished. You can just click here and will get you to the list of clusters which you can work with. On the left side, you have here a list of superclusters which host clusters inside them, and you have basically the same thing on the right but in expanded view. So, for example, Samsung 55 is a supercluster for these clusters. They were identified as similar because a lot of pages have the keywords from our list and rank for those keywords, right? So, for example, let's take a look on what clusters we have here inside this Samsung 55 supercluster. The supercluster and cluster names are just the shortest keywords on the list. You can change the name of a cluster whenever you like, if that is necessary. So as you can see, we have a list of keywords here about 55-inch Samsung TVs. In the cluster named TV Samsung, we have just the keywords about Samsung TVs in general. Next one is TV sale, and we also have a cluster for 60-inch TVs here. So what we can do with these clusters now? Well, first of all, you can edit them how you like. You can move keywords from one cluster to another. For example, you can take all of these sale keywords and move them to your TV Samsung category or any other category or any other cluster. For example, to Samsung washer if you want that for some reason. You can remove keywords from a cluster and you can delete the clusters themselves. Let's talk about the numbers. You see the strength number on the right column here. It identifies how strongly related the certain keyword to the rest of the keywords or to the cluster as a whole. So, for example, by removing keywords with lower scores, you'll create a more strongly connected cluster. For example, in this case, we see that average is around 0.5. So anything below like 0.4 is not too related to our cluster. We can safely remove that, or if you are working with a broad semantic, you can keep them and work with those. Okay, now let's get to the text analytics. You have buttons here at the top where you can start text analytics for all of your keywords or just pick some clusters that you want, and you can also start text analytics for an individual cluster. If you start analysis for a cluster without entering a URL, you can see here that we have an option to add URL. It will just create a list of optimization advices for you in general. So like how would a page optimized for this cluster should look like. What words should be used in title, what words should be used in the H1 headings, what words should be used in body, and it will also give you statistics on the words from this cluster. But if you want to make it more precise and add your own URL which already ranks for some of these keywords, or URL which you try to optimize for these keywords, it will give you a list of recommendations related to your own page. It will also analyze your page. It will show you how many words your page has, how many words are used by similar pages on average, and so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and find some cluster we can work on with URL first, and then we'll see if there's a necessity to show you how it works without the URL, because it's basically the same thing with less data. Let's see what clusters we have here that might be interesting. Something like Samsung washer parts. Let's see if we have a lot of information here. Yeah, so this like small Samsung washer parts cluster looks rather nice, and I think we'll work with this one. Let's find a page which we can use for this analysis. I'll just find one which ranks for Samsung washing machine parts. Something from the second page, perhaps, like this. I'll just copy and paste URL to our keyword clustering tool and see if we can get some useful information out of this one. Okay, so we're starting text. First of all, we have to add our URL to this cluster so that Serpstat knows that we want to analyze this page in this context. And then we start text analysis for this cluster in combination with this URL. We'll have to wait a few minutes. So let's just wait. I guess there's nothing more to show here about the clusters, except for example, as you can see here that we have like this huge list with low strength scores. This list would be different if you use a different type of clustering. For example, if you use hard type with strong link connections, there will be less keywords in here, but they would be connected like closer to 1 rather than 0.5. And there would be just the keywords about stuff, so no ovens, nothing like that. We'll have closely connected cluster, which we can, if we have pages that are serving like those the separate purposes. Okay, so we have text analysis completed here, and we can see the results. The timing of this depends on the number of keywords you have in your cluster, obviously, and probably the size of the page you're analyzing. So here's what the results look like. First, we have a list of keywords from our cluster, and we have an information on how relevant they are to the page we've entered and how relevant they are to the cluster as a whole. So the closer it is to 1, the better it is. We have tips here for those who want to know what a steal coefficient is, and we also have tips for the relevance. It shows you how relevant the keyword is to the page we've entered. So as we can see, Samsung washer machine parts are the most relevant, closer to the green one, and the rest of the keywords are not as much. And we'll have recommendations on how to work on our page to make them more relevant and allow this page to rank for more keywords from this cluster we have here. So first of all, we have obvious recommendations for a title. You have to include words washer, Samsung, and part in your title. You have to include the same words in your H1 heading, and this is the list of words we recommend to use in your body of text. So these are the words that most pages rank in top 20 use on their pages. As you can see, washer and Samsung are the most common here. The rest are not as likely. Chance here stands for how many pages from top results use these words in title, headings, and body. For example, every page from top 30 for this cluster use for meta top for this cluster, they use words washer, Samsung, and part in title. Chance stands for what is the chance to encounter this word on your competitor's website. So basically, all of them use this word, and the chance is 100%. Okay, let's take a look at the analysis of our own page. As you can see, the biggest problem here is the word count. The average is 205 words for pages from this meta tab, and our page has only 30 words on it, which probably is one of the reasons why it ranks on the second page and not on the first one. And by expanding text on the page, adding some more blocks where we include these words from these recommendation sections, we can improve the chances of our page to rank higher in SERPs. Okay, one more thing I forgot to show you is the meta top, which I mentioned a few times. Let me just go ahead and quickly show you what that is about. So meta top is a combined top of the SERPs for a bunch of keywords. So like for this cluster, which we analyze each keyword here, we take a look at the top URLs for each keyword and then combine like top for all of these keywords at once. We see which pages rank for most of these keywords and move them higher. If some pages rank for only just one of these keywords, but first it goes lower, and so on and so forth. You can take a look at that list of URLs here. You can toggle meta up, take a look at what pages rank. Well, they don't rank, but what pages are the most important and the most optimized for the cluster as a whole, and rank for the cluster as a whole the most. So that's all about keyword clustering and text analytics. This tool was created to improve your keyword research processes and give them a logical conclusion. So now, instead of just collecting keywords and then grouping them manually or deciding which keywords to use on your pages and where, you can go ahead, upload your lists of keywords to Serpstat clustering and text analytics tools, and get the recommendations on what words to use on what pages to improve your rankings and cover more bases by targeting cluster as a whole instead of a single keyword. That's all. Thank you for watching, and go ahead and try this tool, and good luck with your optimization. Cheers.